Peace, family. Peace, peace, peace. All right. I got some important subject I need to speak to you all on. Thank you. Thank you. This crown on the website. All right. 1 second. Let me drop this title down here. All right. So I need y'all to pay attention today because this is very important. The information that's being shared today. And you know, my concern with people today is that we are we are in a space where there's a vast shift that's happening in the industry, and a lot of people do not understand, the importance. People are looking at today and not realizing that next year and the years to come, that you all won't have any infrastructure in your life, that this economy won't be the same, that there's a vast clearing of the lower class and the middle class, and there's a big separation that's happening. And this is not by some conspiratorial thought process. This is by the numbers. This is by statistics of what's happening and the emerging technologies. And this is not something that individuals think may happen. This is something that's already occurring. And most of us are so distracted by current politics, life situations, relationships, many different things, and won't be able to see it. And so, before just coming to you all with the issues that exist and that prevail, a solution-based thinker is always trying to give you solutions that help you curve some of the issues that you're going to be faced with regardless. And so here's the thing, right? Of course, as some people say AI, that's definitely a part of the conversation today. And a lot of things is going to happen this year because I feel like this is like one of the last years to get yourself ready and to curve yourself for what's going to take place. And for those who have children, especially, if you're thinking about putting them in any of the old ideas that currently exist, you're setting them up for guaranteed failure. And a lot of you all think that you have security within the jobs that you're currently in. Security doesn't exist, especially in any of the lower paying jobs, any of the middle class jobs. Those are the jobs that will be automated first. Those are the jobs that will be lost first. Corporate greed is a real thing. And if I'm not sure if you all are studying the current climate of the economy and the politics of what's happening when it comes to the industry and the industrial jobs and a lot of them that exist, the capitalist greed is saying that we will cut your jobs, not because we have to, but because we can. And with the emerging technologies making them easier to be able to cut your jobs. And at the same time, with the new emerging technology, 70 to 99% of the jobs don't currently exist. And so, as an entrepreneur, I can always say I will take and face whatever happens, and I'm going to take it head on, and I want to figure out a way to innovate and be ahead of the curve. But what we realize is that, in a downturn economy, and especially one where men don't have jobs, for one, men deal with job loss much worse than women deal with job loss. Men turns to habituates and different self-sabotaging things, and so women deal with things a little easier, but men become even worse off and less procrastinators and are worse at managing themselves in downturn crises, especially when it comes to looking for a job. The video games play go up, drinking alcohol and smoking weed goes up. And you're talking about in a country where weed is now legal, so that if you in an economy where a person barely has money, what they're going to be spending their money on things that give them joy but make them even less productive. And so this is a dangerous thing. So there's important things. Yes, man, age. There's important things before I go over, everything that's happening, because people keep thinking about the future as something that's going to occur instead of something that is already here. And the danger of that is you're waiting to see what's going to be the worst instead of heading it off with what you can do now in the present time. And so, one thing that I want you all to fundamentally understand is aspirational goals that you need. The necessary things. And when you talk about aspirational, and you all got to understand that everything I do is trying to tie you into a bigger picture. Aspirational is becoming more. Ambition is gaining more. So in order for you to have value in, the new economy and where things will be and where things are inevitably leading, you're going to need to become more. And if you look at what will be automated, what will be digitized, and what will be lost as a human component of what's done in society, then that means that anything that can't be digitized, anything that can't be automated, those will be the most extremely valuable skills, right? The most valuable skills. Anything that can be automated, digitized will be. Anything that can't will be the most extremely valuable. So let's, for one, before I even get into AI and what's it's doing. Like a lot of you all that follow me, you all are truckers. Some of you all have factory jobs and things of that nature. Any basically they say any job that's let's say $30 and under, they're trying to automate like quickly, and they're figuring out ways to teeter at that path of automation. One candidate that I like, if you're listening to the news, or if you in politics at all, and this is kind of like my first year really paying attention to it, just because there's a fight for the future right now, and most people are not in the fight, and you're waiting on the savior. And this is going to be dangerous because your goal for 2019 is supposed to have 2020 sovereignty. That's supposed to be your goal. But if you're not working to figure out in every facet of my life, I don't care if you're financially secure, if you have such a great job, you've been working at, things are going great, you're in a cool, whatever it is, you have to figure out how can I become even more sovereign to not even depend on what I'm currently depending on. I don't believe that first of all, I want to say this. The projected numbers is based on our continuous perpetuation of our lazy and ignorant state as Black people. It's not accounting the shift that's happening in the paradigm and the awakening and the awareness of individuals like yourself that's on the line is going to say, you know what, I was a part of those numbers, but then I wanted to make that change for myself, which is going to make that actual shift. And that's why I don't like projected numbers, because an impression upon the people, ideas, that individuals unconsciously end up working towards making those numbers true. So when an individual said that the Black net worth will be zero, that will only be true if the prevailing narrative is that we perpetuate a state of ignorance for the next 10 years, in a state of unpreparedness for the next 10 years. But we can curve that off with aspirational goals of becoming more and making ourselves more knowledgeable, so that statistical analysis like that and projections like that don't actually come true. And so that's what individuals, that you see on here that's working, that's giving you knowledge, that's what they're trying to do, is to help you with your aspirational goals of becoming more, to head off some of those things and also prepare you for some of the downturn that will inevitably happen because of some of the habits that's already set in that people have studied and it's easier to manage. There's many different components that we can deal with this. I will deal with some of the macro, and then I'm gonna squeeze down to the micro of some things and some skills that you can learn for yourself to shift your paradigm, and that you should be teaching your children as well, and things that you should be learning. For one, I want to say that I just want to give a shout out to anybody that's giving away game, that's giving away knowledge, that's just doing it because they see where the curve is and they see how necessary it is. Those people will forever be valuable. They will forever have a job and they will forever have a business. Consciousness cannot be digitized. Consciousness cannot be automated. That is one thing that AI cannot do, regardless of how technology emerges. Now, a lot of you all think about politics and the trickle-down effect of politics as if it doesn't have anything to do with you, and you can be far from it, especially the way technology is changing. As we've seen, if somebody would have told you 10 years ago that when the merge of this technology and social media and these phones coming out, that this was going to drastically change your life, you would have went right back into whatever distractions that you are currently in, because you wouldn't have been thinking long term of either how to engage in the opportunities or how to head off some of the changes that will emerge. And so as we see today, there's a phone in everybody's hand. things are super digitized, and the technological revolution continues to persist and continues to change everything consistently. And so, you have to be a type of person that's able to take these warnings because things are constantly changing. And you can look at the change as positive, you can look at it as negative, it doesn't matter. The consistent and the constant is that things will change. Now, yes, there's always something happening in the government. There's so many different things. And there's so many different distractions. There's Michael Jackson and R. Kelly, but guess what? None of that's going to put any food on your table. None of that is going to feed your children when they're starving and they're hungry. None of that is going to help you require the necessary skills in order to achieve your goals and to make yourself more valuable. And so this is the danger when we're caught up in the crowd mind. And so I talk about the crowd mind so much because as I study some of the politics and some of the things that's happening right now within this current paradigm, and this is really the biggest thing that's your problem right now is your paradigm, of course. And I look at politics, I say, if you study how Donald Trump and Obama won, you start to understand how politics work. Like the way Obama won and the way Donald Trump won is probably the greatest case study of how politics work and how you control a crowd and how you take advantage and capitalize off the time that we're currently in. And I'm only going to touch on this for a second, but if you remember the greatest marketing campaign that's ever been ran was by Obama, and they received awards for that and everything. And it was based off the sentiments and the emotions of the people and swaying the people with the hope and the change that the world will finally be a better place, that we have got reparations through this black skinned president. And so, being able to use that, he was his biggest symbol of change, just the fact that he was black, but also his articulate abilities and his hope slogan. And then you had Donald Trump. He used the opposite sentiment in his ritualistic of, remember, he got the hat. The MAGA hat was his logo. That was his symbol, powerful symbol. And this is important when you're creating a brand, right? Because you don't win crowds over through intelligence. You don't win crowds over through reasoning. And that's why his whole political jargon and everything that he was doing was not about, I want to be the smartest president. It was about, how can I impression their emotions? Because you win crowds through images. And when you're in a crowd, you're supposed to be more theatrical. That's how you sway a crowd towards, yourself and whatever thing that you have projected. So if you look at Donald Trump, build the wall. This was not a intellectual promise. This was not something that was going to the intelligence of the crowd. This was more symbolism of legacy. This is theatrics that you can give to the crowd, because when they see the wall, there's this image. This is the thing that they're fighting for, is driving them. And that's why he had to keep that up from his campaign promise until now, or something that he's fighting for. And so when I look at the candidates that's currently in office, there's only one candidate right now. And that's why all of these candidates right now had to give you something super shiny, like reparations. That's the shiniest thing that's out there right now. Reparations. And then you have a guy like Andrew Yang who's saying that he's going to have the universal basic income. And I think that if you look at the candidates, they're not trying to win with intelligence, and they're not trying to win with intellect, because that's not how you appeal to the crowd. You appeal to them through visions. You appeal to them through images. You appeal to them through their emotions. And so, of course, reparations is something that we've wanted for a long time. It's something that we've been trying to get. And then if you're talking about money and solution-based thinking, it's even different with Andrew Yang. And I think if you want to talk about solution-based thinking, he's the candidate that I think has thought out the most, and that has integrated emotions and intelligence all together, and that is looking at the future and is appealing to the crowd. Here's the dangerous thing. He's appealing to the crowd based on something that's going to be that's a current problem, but he's trying to solve a problem in the future. But that's not how people think. Like someone will like the black woman because she's black and say, hey, we should do it because, women, blah, blah, blah. So they're going to vote for her. you have that subset in that crowd that just doesn't care because you're going to be impressioned by that. It's a woman, emotions wrapped up, blah blah blah. That Cory Booker, I'm not sure why you'll vote for the guy. You know, whatever he throws out there, you want a black man to be it. You have people who already have their set of bias, their paradigm as far as what they lens and what they see and what they emotionally connected to. And so I don't think none of these candidates has thrown anything that's shiny enough yet. They don't have their symbols out there. They don't have their slogan. So we have to wait till that develop. But Andrew Yang has a very interesting case when he's talking about the money is BS, but he has an interesting case when he's talking about that these jobs will be automated and that it's going to cut down the economy and that basically you won't have access for jobs and to money. So he's saying that one of the biggest solutions in an economy to where the people are already going to be robbed is to try to give you some money. Basically, I want to give you $1,000 per month because the economy going to be fucked up. You're not going to have any jobs. You know, and the skill set that you currently have is going to be useless. So that you should either try to figure out how you can get into another industry to where you can be valuable, or just take this $12,000 a year that we're going to give you. Now, here's a solution base. It makes the most sense, and it's trying to figure out a way to say that this is inevitable. This tech is going to come, but this is a way that you can survive through it, basically. And so that's interesting. And I delay my thoughts on that a little bit, but let me get to the micro, right? Let me get to some of the skill sets you can have that you need to develop more currently, and where you are, and then some of the things you need to be paying attention to besides pop culture and what's going on in the news. Stop letting media tell you what to be mad about, because that's the most dangerous thing, is that people are letting media tell them what to be mad about when their current job is about to be stolen by technology. And we're worrying about things that's happening, and it's your influencers and celebrities and news, because they're not spending time figuring out what some of the solutions are. They can only regurgitate things that's going to emotionally impression you so they can continue to get likes, comments, and things of that nature. Now, if you notice, I'm a calm individual. If I want to really impression people through theatrical antics, I can do that. I know how to watch what's successful and what works. Everybody's using the narcissistic Donald Trump, Takeshi 6ix9ine implementation of strategy in order for them to get the crowd mind looking at them. The problem is not their tactics, is about their overall goal and what they're going to do with the attention that they have once the collective consciousness and the eyeballs is on them, because we are in an attention economy. Now, let's talk about some of these skills that you all are going to need. And not even mentioning, of course, the basic of code. Did you know that I was watching a Joe Rogan podcast and they was talking about Takeshi's dope. Your lower self is showing. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But it was a Joe Rogan podcast, and they was talking about they had the Twitter CEOs, or I don't know the CEOs, but they had people from Twitter that deals with reasons that they like block people or cut them off, and it's like a 3-hour podcast, and they was going over details of Twitter rules and guidelines and just the power that Twitter has to influence the world and social media and things of that nature. And so there's a hashtag that can get you cut off on Twitter and get your whole account taken away, is if you go in there and you start to tweet learn to code. And learn to code basically is what they say that that is basically saying that because so here's an example. If truck drivers' jobs will be automated, then an individual will say, well, learn how to code, to deal with the new skill set and the new demand, as if it's easy for a person to just switch what they currently know and then learn something new. And so it's supposed to be basically like a derogatory statement, to be said to a subset of people who have a learning skill, but it's telling them in, this way that's like, yo, you just learn the code and you're going to be all right. I still, and there's more background to it as far as why they consider that derogatory and why they consider that targeted action against different people. But here's the thing. Anything that can't be automated, digitized, or automated anything that can be automated, digitized, will be automated, right? And anything that can't be will be extremely valuable, right? So when you're talking about AI and you're talking about automation, yeah, I feel sorry for the truck drivers. You know, it's like you can wait for things now, or you can actually you know, get ahead of the curve and start doing things that's going to deal with what's to come, because this shit is going to come. The paradigm is going to shift. The paradigm is shifting now. These things are here. It's already eating at the infrastructure, you know. And I was reading something in Forbes on how even the industry jobs and factory workers, and a lot of those factory workers actually have degrees, and they making something of $70,000 a year, or they making like $30 an hour. But what they're going to do right now is the factory workers, even though that they're having incredible profits right now, what they're saying is they want to have tier incomes or tier salaries, meaning that yes, some of the people get to keep their jobs that's been there for a while and get to continue to get paid at 30 something dollars an hour, while some of the other people that's new to the job, younger or whatever it may be, they had to come in getting paid $16 or $25. And they asked the CEOs who are currently of some of these companies getting paid $60 million salaries. They basically said the reason that we're going to do it is not because we have to, but because we can. You know, basically because of demand and because of technology and on all the, and basically because we can. And so, you know, it tells you that they don't care about the little guy. They don't care about none of that shit. They don't care about this is going to change your life and change the way your family eat or anything of that nature. It's about greed. It's about capitalism, period. It's about the people at the top maintaining the top. And here's something that you all want to think about is that the people who have the most to benefit from the system is the people who don't want the system to change. The people who have the least to benefit from the current system is the people who want the system to change the most. And so, of course, if you're at the top, you don't want the system to change. You're at the bottom, you do want the system to change, right? So anything that can be automated, digitized will be automated. Anything that can't will be extremely valuable, right? So when I look at the emerging economy of what they consider the woke economy, right? People may be laughing at it right now, but what we do and what a lot of individuals do that come on here teach is you do something that robots can't. You're doing something that AI can't do. When you're teaching about intuition, emotions, you're right. A robot can't be creative. A robot doesn't have imagination. A robot can't compute compassion. A robot doesn't have consciousness. A robot can't create mystery. A robot can't be empathetic. A robot can't employ values. Those are something that are at core human skills. But as we become a very automated society and the more people become robotic and deal with these phones, you start to lose a lot of those skills. So you have individuals like myself and other teachers and valuable leaders that can go into companies and they have to teach individuals some of these skills, you right? Because these are things that's going to be missing. So I think 9 of the most valuable skills that I want you all to write down and give. And look, you know, I'm gonna go a little more deeper as I'm gonna put together a course for all of this. Like going extremely deep. I'm gonna put together a course for this. Just because aspirationally, these are some of the things that you're gonna need to become more, you know, if you want to head off the things. And like I said, I know we don't think ahead of time, but if you're not thinking ahead, you're the one that's gonna lose in the next couple of years, right? Regardless of who's the candidate, there's just some things that will happen in America. So when you're talking about extremely valuable skills, and these are 9 extremely valuable skills, so I want you to write this down. Complex problem solving, right? This is very, very important because even today, in today's time, as I talk to people and do consultations with people, one of the biggest things people don't know is how to solve their own problems in their life, right? You're not going to type in a computer and it teaches you complex problem solving skills. That's not something you learn. If you can learn, the younger you can learn that, the better, right? Because that's a valuable skill that individuals come into companies and then they teach those companies how to do those things. And you have individuals whose job is just that. That's something that can't be taken away from a computer. So let me go over the definition of, you know, basically what is complex solving skills. And this is something that, you know, you should be taking courses on. You should be learning just so that you can think in this facet. Because here, motivational speaking is going to die out, right? I think that that's something that can be automated. Is you take that sermons and shit like that from different people, and that I only say it's going to die out only because people are going to need a lot more. If you motivating people, it doesn't matter if they can't, if there's no jobs that exist, right? They're going to need complex problem solving skills in order to actually figure out how to shift their paradigm and change their current situation that exists. And so the motivational speakers work better in an economy that's doing well, right? Because people can afford to just sit there and listen and feel entertained, and feel energized by something. But if you have to create a job, it doesn't matter how much you're motivated, you're not going to be able to strategically think on how to create value for yourself. Emotional intelligence. And I know a brother out in Oakland that teaches emotional intelligence. He throw conferences and things of that nature. His job is safe, right? That's a skill that a robot can't teach. Emotional intelligence. Creativity. That's by far one of the most important ones. Right now, if I wanted to get hired helping people with their brands, I can because I've proven myself to be creative. Right now, when I want to create content, I don't go through traditional routes and try to figure out, oh, I wonder if this person is going to see it, that person's going to see it. I go jumble up these different technologies and figure out ways to monetize it for myself. People always ask me like, yo, you really create everything yourself? You do all your content yourself? You do all your editing yourself? You do all those things yourself? Yes. I'm a highly creative individual. I can create something out of thin air, make a product to make me some money. So creativity is a skill that you're going to always need, in anywhere that you're in, especially, as things are changing and things are getting worse. Because if you can teach your child to be creative, then they can always find a way to be innovative. You understand me? And especially when you talk about creating jobs for the future and things are being more automated, you're going to have to be very fucking creative to do that. Negotiation. That just goes to more so a human skill that you need every day in life, and being able to teach negotiation. I once took a class on negotiation, on corporate negotiation and things of that nature. And that also goes towards selling and things. And also I'm gonna give you some tips on branding. Let me put that down. Judgment and decision skills. A lot of you are like that today. A lot of people don't have, proper assessment skills and knowing how to judge things or decision making skills. And especially in a world where we have decision fatigue because we have a cornucopia of options that's always being presented to us today. Social media actually kills our decision making brain. It sucks our time in, and the content that we watch and becomes the content that we thinking. And when it's time for us to have decision making skills, we have no more energy throughout the day. Scientists have said that we only have a finite amount of energy for decision making skills per day, right? So if you're waking up in the morning and you're consuming all the wrong content and you trying to figure out what you're going to wear and all of these different things, you're killing some of that decision making skill throughout your day in order to make the proper decisions that's going to get you to your goal. So this is more aspirational things. Coordinating with others, organizing. And I talked about this in the Keys Academy, which I will be making some announcements about that because we're going to be starting new enrollment for April. We won't be doing any March classes. The only thing we're going to have for March is the paradigm shift, of course. Coordinating with others. This is a skill that I've been able to learn, especially in the collaboration culture, as I always teach you all about the catapult system, is that you don't need to have everything. If you have an idea, let's say if you have an idea, you can find somebody else that has a platform. If you have one skill, you bring somebody else that has the other skill. You may be Wozniak and somebody else may be Steve Jobs. Yes, you can create the technology, but you may need a visionary to be able to sell it to the world. And in this collaboration culture, we have this thing called the internet where you don't have, and I was just talking to my younger brother about this when it comes to problem solving. He said he needed a partner on a particular business in order for him to bring in more money. And I asked him, I said, well, did you put out a PSA on the internet? Did you put something out on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn and blast that out and say, yo, I'm looking for somebody in my area to help partner with me on this because I can't do that thing. And so when you're talking about problem solving skills, all of the solutions already exist to all of the problems. We live in a world where there's yin yang balance. So every problem that exists automatically comes with a solution. So, coordinating with others is the biggest thing because being a organizer is something that most people do not know how to do. But organization breeds organization. It then breeds order within your life. So that's a very important thing. When I was helping co-founding the Shifters, it was about trying to figure out how we can coordinate with individuals that have their own platforms, that have their own egos, that have their own things that's running. But we knew that if you transform and bring these things together, then you all can win. And so being able to coordinate with individuals that's like-minded, that goes towards having that people management skill. And a lot of people really lack people management skills. But it's always, especially now, collaboration over competition. I got negotiation, cognitive flexibility. So I want to go that in this route. I want to go in polymathic thinking, right? Polymathic thinking is more so learning universal knowledge, right? And so a lot of you all are getting doubled down to just one skill set, and so that oh yeah, that's a blessing. They say a lot of you all are getting doubled down to one skill set, right? You want to be this, you want to be that, and so when anything else emerges, you think that thing is not for you. When you will be able to use that thing if you learn it. So think about your parents right now, right? Your parents see emerging technologies and they like, oh, what's that thing called the internet? They automatically are judging the internet incorrectly instead of engaging in the opportunity to be able to use the internet because it's going to seem too hard for them. They're like, no, I'm a nurse. I can't do that. I'm a truck driver, or I'm in this particular specialized industry, so everything else is not for me. I picked my path, and what it does is it makes it harder for you to be able to learn things as outside your particular skill set, learn things as outside your specialized skill. You don't want to learn things from scratch. Like, you got to think about this right now. If you all picked up coding right now, you would increase your value, right? You'll be able to figure out ways you can make more money for yourself right now. But what you realize is that you don't have anything in your skill set that teaches you about coding. So you understand me, that you're going to have to learn it from scratch and learn it from zero. But if you remember back in middle school, high school, and all your years, everything was something that you had to learn from zero, right? And you were expected to pass. You were expected to get a good grade so that you can graduate. And if you continue to have this polymath thinking, saying that, and you have this love for knowledge, then it doesn't matter what skill that you're going to have to learn. You're not going to mind picking something up from scratch. You understand me? And adding that skill set on, and you're going to have a cognitive flexibility to be able to continuously learn whatever you need to learn. You know what I mean? To do that what you want to do, or that what you need to do. So, I learned universal knowledge, and it stretches my mind so that it doesn't matter. You got to think of Leonardo da Vinci. He was an artist, but he was also a philosopher, but he was also an engineer, right? You understand me? So in that thinking, he was creating sketches for the first plane. You understand me? But at the same time, he goes down as one of the greatest artists in history, but also, a great philosopher. He didn't dial down to just one specialized skill, say, no, I'm an artist, I won't touch on these other fields, which he touched on many different fields. Same thing, Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't say that I'm only going to teach Islam and religion. He said, no, I'm also going to teach astronomy. I'm also going to teach business. I'm also going to teach politics, or so many different things. And we can look at the success that was bred out of that, and how much change that happened from that. And I'm sure he wouldn't have shied away from technology as well. He would have said, let's pick this up and let's use this as well as another way that we can continue to shift the paradigm and raise up a nation. And so, when we talk about being polymathic, you have to get into that way to where a lot of people ask me, yo, what do you do? And I'm always hesitant to, like, depending on who I'm talking to, of course, I can pull out one of the bags of things that I do, but more so, I just believe that I'm a human being with many different skills and talents, and I use those throughout my life, in order to win, in order to do. And so it doesn't matter what next thing is coming. I want to learn that next thing too, because I'm always in search of more knowledge to do more things. So as a human being, human beings, we got so many different skills that we do anyway. It's only in this intellectual sense or in volition that we think that we need to only do one thing. But as human beings, we do so many different things. We're not like animals. You understand me? Or insects. Insects have specialized skills. Ants only do one thing, or bees only do one thing. You understand me? But human beings, we're universal. That's what separates us. That is our evolution. So that if you want to continuously evolve, you know, whether you're doing something that you've never done before, you're getting into investing, you know, you're learning something from scratch. Like I was on M Billion Live, and he talked about equity groups and investing and things of that nature. Well, when you hear those things, because you've never studied any of that, you're shy away from it, right? You're going to procrastinate and getting into it because that sounds too painful. That's something you got to pick up from zero. So you're like, nah, that ain't for me, right? But if you're somebody like myself, you say, boom, let me go look, let me research some of this. You understand me? I would have to learn this from scratch, but so what? This is going to increase the value and add more value onto self. So I have no problem doing that at all. You understand me? That's more polymathic thinking. You know what I mean? I always say that is learning universal knowledge to solve specific problems. And the specific problem that we got as Black and brown people is our best interest, which is that of freedom, justice, and equality and enlightenment. So that's important. Now, I kind of want to talk branding with you all, right? Give me 1 second. I want to talk branding with you all, because you know I definitely believe that we all like being an entrepreneur is not something that we think that it'd be cool to do at this point in time. That it's something that we have to do, right? Because we have no security in these jobs. So the entrepreneurial thinking is being a leader and being innovative. Because imagine that if you are someone that has had this specialized skills for years and all of a sudden you lose your job because of automation, it's going to send you to this dark place because you're going to feel like you have no value. You're going to feel like you don't know what to do, right? And that puts people in a really dark place. And that causes depression, and you know that causes abuse of substance, you know, and over procrastination and things of that nature. So I think being an entrepreneur puts you in a space to where you consistently are thinking of innovative ways to tackle problems. You understand me? And looking at things in a positive outlook, like there's always a value here, because there's some people that prey on a downturn economy because they know they can make money. They're capitalists, they're entrepreneurs. So even having that entrepreneurial mindset is going along that journey of exploring ways that you can, you know, create value within the world. And that true entrepreneurial spirit, as I always say, is going along that journey and enjoying that journey, not trying to get to the destination, but enjoying what you're doing. So being an entrepreneur, you know, and having an entrepreneur mindset is now necessary. I don't care if you don't think that that's for you, you should learn it. You understand me? Because it's going to give you that skill, that hustler skill, that business mentality skill. And you need that. And so, yeah, everybody should be an entrepreneur. Now, speaking to my entrepreneurs, you know, speaking about branding, I need some of that. Speaking about branding, what's going to be the most valuable thing for brands in the future? Like the most valuable thing we have to ask ourselves, right? And in an economy to where everything is digitized, it's going to be so many businesses on this web, so many businesses on the internet, right? So how does your business stick out? Or if you got to do everything digitized, how do you even trust, right? How do you know which businesses to trust, which business to go to? You understand me? So building a brand of trust is going to be the biggest thing for all brands right now. Building a brand of trust. Why? Because in a digital world where you have to, you know, wait till things come in to see whether this is going to fit or see whether this is going to be delivered or see this and that and the third. And that's something that I'm working on my own business is, you know, making it airtight and fixing all of the problems that currently exist. So in the next 10 years, I want I want my brand to be the most trustable brand. You understand me? Because if somebody has to choose between mine and 1,000 other businesses on the internet, I want mine to have generated a reputation of trust. Now, write this down. Advertisement, right? Advertisement or marketing. Marketing is what you say about yourself, right? Marketing is what you say about yourself. So if I come on here and I say, look, I'm a fashion designer, right? I'm marketing myself as a fashion designer. Now, let's say if I'm talking to a woman and I'm constantly telling like, yo, I design clothes, and I'm consistently saying that in the conversation. I'm advertising myself like, yo, I'm the fires fashion designer ever to innovate anything. I'm advertising myself at this point, right? Now, let's say that I sold her on that, right? She believed it. And if she walks away and she tells someone else, tell her friend, like, who was that? And like, oh, that's a fashion designer. He creates the firest things ever. My brand is what she says about me. It's not what I say about myself, right? So you may think you're running a great business. You may think you have a great product because that's how you're marketing it, right? That's how you're advertising it. But how people think about your business or what they say about your business is going to be your branding, right? So your goal is, of course, how can you create a brand that's solidified with the brand of trust? That's going to be your golden seal. That's going to give you longevity. And so, there's a my brother billionaire introduced me to his mentor, and his mentor had been in business for like 20 years, and he had made no mistakes. At least that's what he told us. He said he made no mistakes, right? Because he's an older guy, and I tend to believe him because of, after I met him, he seems more of a stoic individual. And the reason he said is because red flagging is what he's called, what he said it was. So I know within my business, I made a lot of mistakes. Things have been late, things messed up, blah, blah, blase. But what he did was he accounted for all the things that went wrong, and he created a system to make sure that those things won't go wrong, right? So the average person will go throughout time, like most people don't go get a consultation before their business or have an idea and don't want to do those things, right? So you not going to learn to deal with all of the red flags that's going to pop up the same way in a relationship, right? We ignore all of the red flags and then we go deal with them. In business, it's the same way, right? Instead, you're supposed to learn all of that information. Even when you're structuring a deal with somebody, y'all get a contractual agreement to make sure that nobody can mess up with anything of this nature, because that can be a possible red flag. A person changing their mind instead of just having a verbal agreement. And then you figuring out what other thing can go wrong. And then you creating something to make sure that that's airtight. And what other thing can go wrong. And you making sure that that can be airtight. So you're dealing with all of your red flags before they actually pop up, which curbs all of your problems, right? Which gives you what? A brand of trust, because that's going to have less problems to experience on whether it's B2B or whether it's, customer's business. You understand me? And so it's important when, even if you take that philosophy in life and you're going through situations, kind of like, and that's where it comes to being a planner and organizer. If you're planning and organizing things ahead of time, then you're always able to curve off these red flags and make sure that your business continues to have a brand of trust, because things can always go wrong. Things that's erroneous or things that just outside your control. And that's why you have a method of, red flagging. So something that went wrong, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the customer, tell them shit went wrong ahead of time. So guess what? It stops that red flag from popping up in their brain and being mad at me. You understand me? And so you're curving off all of those things. So that's an important thing. And these are talking about things that we should be doing now to prepare us to have a 10-year in business, a 10-year run in business, a 20-year run in business. You understand me? A 30-year run in business. But in business, it's a roller coaster. So you're dealing with red flags from politics that's going to trickle down, red flags from technology that's going to happen, red flags just from many different things that's beyond the scope of our prophetic thinking that we won't even know about. So I know we're a distracted people, and that's always, dealing with other things that have nothing to do with our success. But we have to start thinking in the capacity of, damn, when things change, how would I deal with the change? How can I even profit off the change? How can I win through the change? Right? We have to stop just going through things. We have to grow through things, as I always say. And that makes us, that makes us great. So the future of, the economy is dangerous. People are going to lose their jobs. People are not even going to know what jobs to get. People are going to be dealing with a feeling of worthlessness, not knowing their value in society. You understand me? People are going to be even more controlled by social media and technology and not knowing how to think for themselves. People will be emotionally manipulated through consciousness. These bots and different interventions, people that's been doing data studies on you because you've been putting so much information about yourself online. So, individuals want to know exactly how you think, why you think, and what you will think based on your current thinking. So we have to be, careful about the future that we're setting for ourselves and setting for our children. And so let me go over some of those skills again when we talking about aspirational. And I'm not even just getting directly down to the business aspect, but we talking about mind management, right? Because mindset is going to be everything. Because if you have the right mindset, it doesn't matter what you go through, it's how you go through it and how you grow through it. Because there's somebody right now going through the same thing that you're going through with the same skills and the same tools that you have, but they're dealing with the situation much better. They're because of why they have a better mindset, right? So there's certain things that I might face or I might deal with that I don't deal with in the best manner because I haven't updated my programming to be able to deal with these things correctly. So we have to constantly update ourselves and have these aspirational goals to add more value onto ourselves. So regardless of what happens, we can win. And being solution-based thinking is curving those red flags that's going to pop up. Solution-based thinking, right? So, like I said, whether you're doing general elections, whether you're doing local elections, whether you're making decisions within yourself, always think of it as in you're curving the red flags and you're being a solution-based thinker, right? And a lot of people, if you pay attention to the politicians, they're going to try to assuage you with things that are going to be emotionally appealing to your sentiments, but not things that's going to be intellectually appealing or things that's going to really tap into your intelligent thinking, just things that's going to make you feel good. And whoever can come up with the shiniest, most theatrical feel good is they're going to cultivate the feeling of the people and get them and drive them to the polls to do right. So that's the important thing. Damn, I need some water real quick. I'll be back. All right. I had to go get me some alkaline water, y'all. I was doing a lot of talking. So let me open the floor up for some questions right now. And I'm going to pull up some more things that we can go over. And I'm going to drop this video about futures after this because it's important. Right. And then I'm going to read this really quick. Planning for the future, right? Future planning is not an African thing to do. In most cultures in the African language, there are no words for near future because the African psychology / culture and spirituality is about the present, being present and enjoying the present. But this serves as a problem for Black people in America and may be at the heart of why we have been losing the developing race, simply because we don't plan. We aren't naturally adapted to think 10, 20, 50, or 100 years into the future. Therefore, we don't control our future. In America, this is a losing mentality because the Western culture is not based off our psychology, but that of a Eurocentric mindset. They plan so they can remain so-called supreme and or empowered. The day we begin to live in the now and plan ahead is the day we begin to control our future. Since our future is our present, we must stop thinking we have no power over it. It's what we do right now today that makes the difference. We often concern ourselves with statistical analysis that make us think we have no control, but the control of tomorrow lies in the power of today. We must plan for the future but live in the now. Let's not say we will start saving money. Just say I save money. Present tense thinking. Let's not say I will stop eating bad foods. Say I stop. You say I'm eating good foods. Not saying one day white supremacy will be over, but white supremacy is over the day we decide it is. Let's decide today to become mathematical thinking people, calculating ever changing present circumstances, being 100% in control of the now. When you create patterns of thoughts of time correctly, you find yourself not getting stuck in the past, which causes depression, or worried about the future, which causes stress. Neither which you have no control over, right? But happiness is laid within the now. Power is in the now and in the present. We will not get it together unless we are together, unless we are united. So we got to tap in. Got to tap in. You understand me? And so we have to do things for our descendants. And we have to continuously think about our descendants and continuously think about how we can evolve. Well, let me get my water. Because I don't want you all watching this and say, oh, he was right. He said this and he said that. I want you all to think and be like, he was right. So I did this and I did that, right? And it allowed me to have value within my future because I started planning as soon as I heard the thoughts. And what's the difference between the people who have this sort of consciousness when they hear a solution, they act off of it immediately, right? Instead of the people when they hear something right, they say, okay, man, that sound like it might be right. That sound like it might be cool. That might be the solution, but it doesn't actually ignite them. It doesn't actually push them. It actually doesn't actually cultivate their willpower. It doesn't actually drive them to do. And so once we get to that point where when we hear something correctly, we actually use it. And when we hear information, we just execute upon it instead of always being in this state of, well, let me go learn more to see what else I don't know so that I can continuously contemplate over that information instead of executing off that which I already have. Because you already have enough information in order to do what you need to do. You understand me? And so what I also learned is that your memory is decreasing from using social media or using the internet or using technology. So you definitely have to spend time away from it. You have to spend time within nature so that you don't get stuck in the confines of this collective consciousness and it starts to paralyze your ability to continuously grow. And so if you want to be a studier of the now, it's going to prepare you for whatever happens in the future. But I can guarantee that there's a lot of people who may read Baller Alert more than they read the Scientific American or Forbes, and something that may be valuable to you, while the other thing is more so distracting you from the value that you could be getting out present day. As someone building an online business, I found that technology really affects my frequency. I know it's important to detach, but by detaching, I feel like I'm robbing my future self of progress. No, so what you're talking about is which future self are you robbing of progress, right? Because if you detach, then you can be gaining increased mental health, right? You understand me? For your own biological rhythm. So that's going to help your future self. So in that conversation, you have to ask yourself, what do I value more? Is it money, or is it your true wealth, which is your health? Because your future self is going to need you. Like, you're going to need a body. You're going to need a sane mind. You're going to need not to be stressed out, to be able to think and to have a clear mind. So detachment from technology is the most important thing, because technology is not natural. And anything not natural is truly a liability onto self, right? So you have to ask yourself, what do you value more? And that's why they say health is wealth. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? I know I'm well overdue for a trip within nature myself. Let me see what we got on YouTube. What they saying on YouTube? Okay, we got a lot of people tapped into YouTube right now. The English language is the only language I know that speak in past tense. Notice Chinese is present tense. Yeah, Chinese is present tense. The English language is not the only language that speaks. It speaks future tense, not past tense. It speaks future tense. But it's not the only language that speaks future tense. There's other languages that do that, and they've studied that, and they've seen different results from different people that speak, coming from different countries. But um, it's important that we just not be on here and we don't not heed the signs of what's to come and what's happening. Because you're gonna find yourself in a bad position in a few years. And you're going to ask yourself what happened as time went by and things continue to emerge. And you didn't take the warning, you didn't take the listening of what people had to say. Oh, y'all really want these shirts? I might have to put out one of these shirts. Y'all keep playing with me like that. Are you concerned at all that your entire business model and everything we're trying to build depends on the internet? No, see, my business doesn't depend on the internet. I've been in business before the internet. Not before the internet, but I've been in business before I had any social media presence. So I had a storefront in Oakland, and I've been selling and doing what I'm doing before the internet. So my business is not predicated upon, just the internet or social media or technology. It's upon my actual skills and my aspirational skills, the value that I have, period, as a creative thinking, innovative human being, that has these complex problem solving and things of that nature. So I'm not concerned with it, because if the internet disappears, right, then it disappears for everybody. As long as the internet don't just disappear for me, I'm cool. But if it disappears for everybody, I still have the same amount of value. The playing field is equalized as well. So I still can set myself. You say I had to wear a coat. Look, bro, see, he bought a coat for me back in 2008, 2009. What y'all talking about? So I still have the same skill set. You understand me? I still have the same value that I have with or without the internet. The internet just allows me a satellite to broadcast to the world. It's an extension, right? It's an extension, but it's not me. It's not the thing. So I'm not worried about it as long as it happens to the world, as long as they don't just cut 19 keys off from the internet. Then yeah, you understand me? But if everybody gets cut off, it's an equalized playing field. You understand me? So I ain't tripping at all. Let me know if y'all have any other questions. We're talking about the future of America, people. You understand me? What's going to be your job in America? What will be your children's job? So, if I looked at the proposed bill that Donald Trump was put on there, that he's going to run his campaign off of, and walaikum salam, and they're going to want to cut a lot of funding in different areas, and of course, they're constantly cutting money from education. And so education is not to the education system is not to be relied upon at all, right? For some reason, that's always seems to be the first thing on the chopping block. And the education system is already that of the old paradigm. And so we have to figure out more innovative ways anyway, you understand me? And not have a dependent thought process upon someone else to teach you on how to survive within the world, right? Because the education process is, how many teachers do you have in middle school? How many teachers do you have in public school and in college? And those are the people that are sent to guide you through life, right? So if you can figure out a way, for one, in your life to align yourself with smarter mentors than those people, then you can already increase the magnitude of your ratio for success. Yes, definitely homeschool if you can. If you can't afford like a super superior education, or private school. I went to private school until 6th grade. But we have 1 minute, so I ain't gonna be able to get all of those questions. I'll come back on to take and do a Q&A real quick, and then I'm gonna end it. So peace. I'll be right back. So YouTube, we still here with you all.
Happiness is something that's ongoing. You can't just have a stop.
All right, cool. All right, we're bringing it back in for IG, Instagram. All right. Somebody said they trying to figure out their life and their calling in life. Yeah, the Black on Black crown is on the site. So if you like that, link in the bio for that. The paradigm shift, of course, is on the site as well, which will be closing out in March, and we'll be starting something different. So you don't have that much time to actually go enroll and get it. If you want to change your life, that's up to you. It says, I'm a graphic designer that learned how to code. When design work slowed down from the company I work for, I was able to work in the IT department as a developer, but it's definitely not easy process. And see, Saida Stringer, thank you for that, because that basically goes towards what I was talking about. You know, when we have one skill and we may need to transition into another skill in order to continuously survive or thrive at the level that we've been currently doing it. And that's why it's dangerous for us to just get into specialized skills and we leave ourselves open and we leave ourselves vulnerable. Like right now, you know, I do a lot of different things and therefore it qualifies me for a lot of different positions. I don't ever want to be qualified for just one position in life because that means that I have no value in any other positions. And if that particular, you know, position starts to close or the paradigm starts to change and, you know, that job is automated out and that job is weeded out, then where would I live then? What would I do then? And so that's the whole point of getting you all summoned in this polymathic thinking, you know, and having aspirational goals and not just ambition, you know, and so that, you know, you have more value. You have more value if we just being plain, because not everybody has that much value, you know, and we always say that nobody is irreplaceable. Well, figure out how you can make yourself irreplaceable. I'm talking about where you're the most valuable person. You understand me? Like make your network so valuable, make your mind so much more valuable consistently all the time, so that you can constantly figure out ways to do things. And so, Saeed Stringer, you say you learn how to code and things of that nature. Um, you learn how to code. You should also be looking at, you know, the emerging technologies and where you can fit some of that skill set that you already have, you know, within making some more money. So the Black Panther jacket is not currently available. But I've been had probably like 50 people that asked me. So um I said that I wasn't gonna make it again. We might do one last run, but it will have to be pre-order, and you all have to be patient about the process. Because that's the only thing about doing the last one is that people weren't patient with the process, and the process takes patience. You understand me? I don't make these often, but yeah, all the clutches and all that stuff is going to be here. You understand me? Drop it when the second movie come up. Yes, I'm 100% Muslim. The process burn when you really learn how to earn. Yeah, I agree. Miss the good old days. I don't miss the good old days. You know, there's no such thing as the good old days. I just, you know, enjoy where we are. And because when you do that, you know, and you get stuck in a time period that you loved. You ever see an OG say that they love the 90s, they love the 2000s. A lot of people get stuck in that time period and then they judge this time period so much that they don't take advantage of the current opportunities and positivity that exists in the time that they're currently in. And so they miss out on abundance because of what they used to like instead of what's here. It's like a person that gets out of a relationship, you know, and they're so fed up and thinking about their ex or something, and they're missing all of the abundance that's currently out there that they could be engaging with. And so, you know, it's dangerous to get stuck in nostalgia. You understand me? Do you think digital marketing will switch into a programmer and plan on learning that too? Digital marketing will switch into a programmer. I don't understand your question. And yeah, I don't understand your question, Nico. You had to say that again. I haven't even ate anything today. I'm hungry. You know, I eat 1 meal a day, y'all. Why is it that some people say Muslim men shouldn't wear gold or silk? I ain't gonna tell for that question. What are some good ways to educate yourself on business? Take the paradigm shift, of course. No, what study and learn, take courses, take classes, um, trial and error, learn from someone else, consultations, many different things. Yeah, I love Shopify. Shopify is a good way. I actually build Shopify stores for people as well as build brands and design for people on the back end and also create content for people. But my fees, monthly fees that you'll have to pay because I'm a very creative individual and this brain power can't come cheap. No such thing because we were signing things to feel the pain. Okay, you dropping bars. You over there dropping bars. I was like, why is this all rhyming? I'm from Oakland, but I'm in LA. What made you turn blood to FOI? What? Oh man, I've been at FOI, man. That's funny. Who said I was a blood ever? That's funny. I used to do some things back in my day. I don't speak on that stuff. What are some ways to gather the youth up, more youth that's heading in the wrong direction? Become the greatest example and then teach them by the experience of what you learned by becoming the greatest example. What are your thoughts on pride between younger and older men? On pride between younger, you have to explain that more because pride means something weird these days. I don't know what that means. My fault, Keys. I mean, do you think digital marketing will become more AI heavy as it is the skill I want to learn? Any job that they can make automated. Of course, there will be some automated when you're talking about marketing. Let me make sure I'm reading that correctly. Yes, definitely. Digital marketing is already AI right now. They are already doing a lot of things automated right now. So it's not an if it will be. It's a fact that it already is today. If you're looking at algorithm training and things of that nature, yeah. So it's definitely that. I seen you at Mars 27. I was one of the brothers that came from Vegas. All peace and blessings to you, brother Dante Muhammad. Do you believe in a holographic universe? Yeah, I believe in the theory of the holographic universe. It makes sense to me. It makes very logical sense when you understand, what's it made of. Do you consider yourself conscious or Islamic? You seem to be both. What's the difference? Conscious means to be aware. Islam speaks about a way of life. You understand me? We take too many binary choices. And so, you can be all of these different things. You can be trinary, you could be quinary. You don't have to be one or the other. It's definitely about being both, being evolved. What about the medical field? Can and how will AI touch that? AI is definitely going to touch the medical field. It already is. You're talking about what they're doing with machine learning is, they're having AI machines watch surgeries, and then these AI machines are able to do surgeries that surgeons were doing just by watching, basically. And so, there's going to be so many things in, I believe, the medical field, just surgeries, period, and pinpointing technologies, and doing complicated surgeries. That's definitely going to be AI based, and it's probably just going to be managed by a surgeon, and I think that it's going to take the amount of people that currently lives in those fields and that's currently in those rooms. It's going to be a lot less people. You know what I mean? You're talking about lasers and what's the little nanobots and all kind of different stuff that they're trying to do right now. So definitely AI is already within that field. You're talking about they're trying to chip people, and they're also trying to determine how you will get sick based on what you eating, or algorithms to do things that doctors are already doing of the diagnosing and prescribing medicine and stuff like that. So yeah, when we talk AI, we talking artificial intelligence. So yeah, it's going to enter whatever field that it can, and anything that can be automated, anything that can be computed. Yeah, but China over there roasting their people with all that technology, man. That's too much going on with China right now. Much love to you, brother. I'm heavily inspired by your being grateful. I appreciate you, illusions. Do you take investors? Do you have investment opportunities? Definitely. Go ahead and hit me up, Deontay Muhammad. We could tap in either email or DM, and we can talk. I'm also taking international travels right now. Hold on. I was looking for my passport right now. I don't remember where I just put it. Anyway, I just got my new passport in, wherever it is. And so I was saying no to a lot of the bookings that people wanted to bring me in, UK and Canada, and a lot of people was trying to book me for that. So I'm back open for international booking. Because at first I just wasn't going to take any payment from people until the passport came in. But the passport is here. So if y'all want to tap in, we back ready to go. We back ready to fly. Which do you believe in? The world is flat, or I don't think it's neither. I think it's a combination. It's a little oblong, a little fucking egg shape. I don't buy time for no flat Earth. This flat Earth, if this goddamn Earth was shaped like a triangle, it ain't gonna change nothing. I'm an OG, but I ain't stuck. But I do need help with this new abundance. Okay, cool. Well, let's do a consultation, good brother. Advice on stepping into your calling or shifting from your comfort zone in this upcoming AI shift. Well, don't think of it from like an AI shift. You know, you just got to think of it, like I say, from an aspirational thing of, what's going to be your emergent mentality and how you're going to grow in whatever comfort zone that you're currently in, because there's a lot of things that's not just, artificial intelligence based, that a lot of people are not willing to, step in front of the camera, to where they may need to be the front person for their business to rise, or just to do a lot of things that people aren't comfortable with. You talking about, that's where paradigms come in. When we talk about paradigms, that's the thing that's in front of you. That's the thing that you are. We are, fast moving molecules. We are vibrating thoughts. We are our habits, stuck into a box. And a lot of people don't want to change out their current habits. A lot of people don't want to change out, their current activities. You don't want to change out friends, family. You don't want to change out the way you eat, the way you think. You don't want to do anything that makes you uncomfortable. So therefore, you will not get new results, because you will only continuously perpetuate and do those things. And so you have to, for one, set yourself in a new phase of thinking. And this doesn't come overnight. This comes through repetition. You understand me? It comes through training yourself consistently. And so anything that I've trained myself on, I always tell people it only takes one day to make a new habit, and that's the day you start, and it's the day you don't stop. And so if you start new habits, you force yourself to impregnate your subconscious mind to become a different person, because who you are is not just those conscious thoughts. I can always say I want to do something, but it's not until experience over time that makes me become that thing, right? But that first conscious thought that I had that I wanted to do, that's not enough. I impregnate my own mind by my activities, my consistent activities, that create a subconscious paradigm shift for myself, because then I'm moving on automation. You understand me? And so that's the most important thing. You can't be stuck in whatever you're doing. You have to ask yourself, is this the best way that I could be currently living to get the best results that's currently out of life? And if you look at people that went further than you, then you can always say, no, of course it's not, because there are people that's doing things better in a better manner. So how do you learn off people? You understand me? How do you learn off the people that have already done what you want to do? Study them. Pattern your mind off people who's already done what you want to do. When you take on those habits of what they do, then you're forced to get the results that they got, right? Piece of large far cup. This stuff good. okay, I needed this because I needed to make a shift because I need to be in front more, but I don't want to leave my family, friends, etc. Look, you know what? You don't have to leave nobody. It just depends on what you want to do, and then you got to look at. It's like if a person want to grow their hair out, right? And they saying I don't want to cut off, you know what I'm saying, these ends. Now you got to cut that off so it can grow. You understand me? So if you're afraid to cut things off, then that's gonna be. And it's not about cutting them off. Let me not use that word. If you're afraid to let things go, so you can let things grow, then that's going to be your problem. Either keep those things that's holding you behind, or let them go so you can move forward. But make a choice. That's the whole point. Make a choice and live with whatever choice that you've made. Don't say that I want to move forward, but I don't want to do the things that's going to move me forward. At some point in time, you have to take responsibility for the things that you want to do and the things that you're willing to do. You understand me? Because a lot of people have aspirations, a lot of people have ambitions, a lot of people have goals, a lot of people have dreams, but are you willing to do the necessary work that's going to get you towards completing and manifesting that dream and that idea? And if a person said that I need you to study this for 10,000 hours, and you were like, oh, that goal, that demand is attached to my dream, most people are going to be like, nah, you know what? I'm cool. The dream felt good, but the work doesn't, right? So the execution is different. Those who are willing to do the execution is different than those who are ready to drum up the idea. You understand me? So you got to tap into that part of self that loves to work. You understand me? And when you fall in love with the work ethic, then you also fall in love with the execution because that's what the work will produce. I'm a very patient person, and I'm learning to develop more patience every day. And when I was younger, I've always been patient. And I always tell people it's a difference between being impatient and being a patient. You understand me? And so, hold on, let me pull this up. It's one of my verses words. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Patience is so goddamn important. Read from here. Because those who have patience, that's a positive attribute of someone who is disciplined. Because if you're patient and you have a large goal, it doesn't matter how large that goal is. You're willing to do the work over time in order to complete that goal. But people who are impatient, they want things fast. They want microwave results. So they never do anything of any great magnitude because they want everything to be done so fast, right? Walaikum salam, good brother. And that also sets people on this path of criminality as well. You know, you're not thinking in the long term. And people who can't see the long term spectrum, you can't build a pyramid that make 20 years to build out. You don't do anything of that magnitude. You can't create a legacy, you know, just by these microwave results and things that you want. And so when we talk about you know, having patience, that person that has patience can rule the world because it takes time to when you plant a seed, it takes time for that seed to grow, right? And then when it grows, you're gonna have to cultivate it. You understand me? And then when it produces fruits, then you get to eat the fruits of your labor. But that person that has the plan to take over the world, they might not have the patience to see the plan through. And that's why genius ideas are not enough if you don't have the patience of execution and the work ethic of execution. You understand me? Like some people want to be millionaires, but they want to be a millionaire within a year. You understand me? Some people, but they're not looking at it like, oh, this may take 10 years. So let me do everything in a progressive order to be to 10 years, right? So, you know, we have to know when, you know, we actually being patient or we're just waiting. And this was the versing word, being patient versus waiting, right? Because if you don't plant the seed, then you're waiting, right? But nothing is going to be produced. There's no fruit, right? But if you plant the seed, I say that that's patience. Because it's the same way if you were to go into a hospital and you're bleeding, you got a bullet hole, you understand me? And you go in there and you just sit down, nobody's going to come and see about you. You know what I mean? You just in a waiting room. But if you go in there and you write your name on the list, you tell them what's wrong with you understand me? Then you go sit down, they go come and grab you real quick then you become a patient, right? Because of that's going to be real patience. You actually waiting for the fruits of your labor to actually produce something. But if you don't do any work, if you don't plant any seeds, you just waiting, right? You just in a waiting room. But when you plant the seeds and you do the work, then that's when you having patience, right? So you have to, have patience to be a patient. You understand me? To be a patient of your results and the goals that you want. But a lot of people just waiting for things to be done, but they're not willing to do the work and then be patient for the work to actually produce. You understand me? And for you to cultivate the things that need to be done while you're waiting. You understand me? So it's a difference. A lot of people are not patient and they want quick results. You understand me? And a lot of people just want things to just magically appear. They want magical results. And that's why they can't believe success stories, because they don't see themselves being as patient and having that same work ethic as those who have actually completed their goals. They like, goddamn, and they're skeptical about a lot of different things, right? So being skeptical about too many things, can be dangerous, because here this person is giving you the plan that you're going to need, but you're skeptical because you don't have that you don't have that same ability. You don't value knowledge that same way. You understand me? So you're not going to want to learn that. You're going to want to be like, no, give me the magical pill that's going to make me successful. You're telling me, oh, some plans that I can do aspirational that's going to benefit me in the next 10 years, right? There's something that individuals have told you 10 years ago that if you would have listened, it would have benefited you now today, that you'll be reaping the rewards and benefit. But you act as if this day would have never come, like 2019 would have never come. So you didn't take that advice because you were impatient. You didn't want to put in that work and reap the benefits, which you would have been reaping this year. You would have been enjoying the fruits of your labor this year, right? So I always tell people, if you have another 10 years left within you, then you can make anything happen, right? I don't care what it is. I feel like within a decade, a human being can produce any thought that they want to bring into reality. I don't care if you're an old or young person, right? If you're working on something for 10 years straight, it's going to progressively get you to winning. You understand me? Whatever idea you have. But not a lot of people are willing to say, you know what? This is year one. It might take 10 years to get to that goal. You understand me? So I'm going to work on it. You understand me? Progressively grow, 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 grow. Stick with it. Stay focused. Stay patient. Stay diligent. You understand me? Continue to learn. Continue to cultivate it. And then in 10 years, I get to reap the benefits of all of the work and all of the progress from all the seeds that I've sown. You understand me? But everybody wants something to happen next year or next month. Why? Because we're used in our paradigm right now. What? Check to check to check to check to check to check, right? So that's the cadence that we used to. That's the rhythm that we used to. So we want everything to happen this week. We want things to happen next week. You understand me? Hey, leave my understand me alone. So you want everything to continuously happen. You understand me? I can't even, it's on automatic. It's on automatic. So if you want everything check to check, then you have a week to week paradigm. So your patient level is only till next week, or till next month, or till next month, right? But if you're somebody that's used to getting big contracts, $1 million contracts, and you're like, oh, that took me a year to do. So the next goal you said, you're not tripping. That's going to take you another year to do, another 2 years, 3 years. Your level, the way time opens up to you changes. So patience, and here's the thing, because it's easier to be patient when things are going right in your life, right? Because you're not wanting things to happen so fast. You understand me? And that's why I always tell people, enjoy the journey instead of the destination, right? Because when you enjoy the journey and you enjoy what you're doing, it makes it much easier to be patient. When you're bored, guess what? Time is clicking by fast, right? Because your mind is counting more things that's going on. Right? Your mind is always counting this. Oh, this is born, this second born, this second born. But when you're enjoying yourself, time is flowing because you're not counting everything. You're allowing your mind to ease into this state of enjoyment. So that's going to be the issue. You got to DM me for all that information. That's going to be the issue. So you have to develop patience if you want to do anything of any great magnitude. Of any great magnitude. You understand me? But this week to week to week to week, I don't even be knowing what day of the week it is so much. You understand me? I don't be knowing what day of the week it is. Because time is, it's just mine. Time is just mine. You understand me? Time is just mine. And wherever I'm doing right now, I'm just working. I'm not thinking about where I need to be tomorrow, where I need to be next week. I'm just gonna keep putting in work. You understand me? I'm just gonna keep putting in work, keep putting in work, keep putting in work. And eventually it will produce from the work that I put in. Because you can look at it like this, right? There's a arithmetic to manifestation. There's an arithmetic to producing anything into reality, right? So if you have a thought that is $1 million thought, right? And let's say that it takes or let's say for this, let's say you want to get $365,000 course, right? I'm gonna make this easy. So that means that every day you have to get $1,000 per day to reach your goal of $365,000, right? So that means that's 365. That's 1,000 hertz per day, right? If we talking about energy you putting in, you talking about putting in 1,000 hertz per day. And if every day you put in 1,000 hertz, then you're going to reach that goal of getting $365,000. Now I'm over super simplifying this, but I'm only putting it in a manner to where you can understand the idea of manifesting any goals. The same way if you want white teeth and you say that, okay, that means I need to brush my teeth 3 times a day in order to get these white teeth, right? But let's say that a person says that this is the goal that you have. This is the high frequency goal and the amount of work that you have. But let's say that this person is only going to brush their teeth 1 time a day. Then it's going to increase the amount of time in order for you to get to your goal to manifest that idea that you have. So I look at it like each goal has this particular frequency that you have to reach in order to complete it, right? But if you're not willing to put in that goal, if you're not willing to put in that work, you understand me, every day, and work is the exertion of energy. So every day you have to exert some energy towards the goals and the ideas in order to manifest that thing that you want to put in. Otherwise, you're going to miss it. And it's also going to expand the amount of time that's necessary in order for you to complete those goals. So something that may have took you taking that repetition of doing something 3 times a day and working on it triple the time that you would have put in, now it may take much longer because of your consistency and your procrastination. So you're throwing off your own goals. You're throwing off your time of completion. So you have to take a look at everything that you do, and you look at all of your distractions, and you say, am I willing to give up Netflix? I'm willing to give up 30% of the entertainment I watch on YouTube. I'm willing to give up going to the club. I'm willing to give up drinking. I'm willing to give up smoking. I'm willing to give up some of my socialization. I'm willing to give up some of my Instagram time, all of those things. And you say, wait a minute, those are my distractions, right? So while I'm distracted, that means that I'm not doing things that will get me towards these assets, get me towards these goals. So if I take away from that, boom, 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 and then I add in assets, things that are better for me, guess what? You increase your production, right? And then you get to your goals much quicker, much quicker. But a lot of people are complaining, but they have a whole list of distractions that they could close down, that they could get rid of. And then they can get to their attractions, their goals, and their production, and then they'll be able to push forward much quicker. So you get to ask yourself, how much more productive would my life be? And then you can actually write this down. You understand me? Write all of your distractions down, and then write all the things that you could be doing in place of that. And then you can track your level of production for that month and see how much more you are able to get done. Things get real simple, man, when you know when you have an idea. Concentration of passion is how you get to manifestation, right? Concentration is the ability to focus on something for a long period of time. Your distractions take you away from your focus, so you're not able to concentrate onto your passions, right? And you're not able to manifest that thing that you wanted to have. It says, which came first for you, teaching and empowering others or your clothing line? I have a strong desire to help people elevate as well. How do I attract and connect with people who want to learn? I've been doing this my whole life. You know what I mean? I was on the block, you feel me? Even when I was selling weed and, doing other things that were unbecoming of a young guy, I was sitting there, still dropping game, still dropping knowledge. Now, individuals in the streets, they want to hear all that. You feel me? But they were still there. They were still listening. I was still giving them the right information. And those same people that tell you today, like, yeah, I might have been doing it in the magnitude that I'm doing it, but they were still listening like Keys was dropping it even back then. And that's when they called me Cali. You feel me? So I've always been an individual that dropped game. Always been an individual that's been, giving keys to individuals, giving knowledge, that giving consciousness. It's just in today's time, I find a lot more people that's susceptible to the message, and we have the ability to use and create platforms to be able to get out these messages and broadcast it to a lot more people, and that's what makes it more beautiful. But yeah, the clothing line came because of the message. So one of the first shirts that I made, um was like a protest, if you will. And it said Assalamu alaikum on it, right? And so it was at a time where Muslims were being ostracized, and a lot of people are afraid to be Muslims. And so I wanted to create, like I was like, fuck that. You're talking about like anybody afraid to walk outside and say my last name Muhammad. But a lot of people were. A lot of people were, changing the way of life and everything, changing their last name and not even saying Assalamu alaikum anymore, because the white people look at you crazy like, oh, you one of the terrorists or something like that. And so I said, you know what? At this time, let me go ahead and make my Assalamu alaikum shirt. And I'm gonna walk outside where I ain't never even got to say it, but you gonna know who I am, right? And so I remember having the first shirt, and I remember going to Berkeley, and I was walking outside, and I remember the response was crazy. It was people hunking out their cars. It was white people saying "Wa alaikum salam." People just everywhere, because you got to remember at that time, post 9/11, they didn't see anybody actually going out there with any like proud stance of celebrating that. So I think that people were ready for that shift and to like break out their shell and finally see somebody walk outside and be like, yes, I'm a Muslim. So what was happening? You feel me? But I was taking it from like the gangster stance, like, nah, I'm aware who I am. This is my protest, because clothing and fashion, it allows you to create statements about who you are, So I always wanted to create things that was connected with a meaning in my own consciousness. So as I created those shirts, I had, of course, people who weren't Muslims, Christians, and Catholics, Buddhists, atheists, whoever you want to. All of them was wearing these shirts all throughout Oakland and shipping them out and everywhere. And I didn't want to just create something that just had a meaning. I wanted to do it with a class and luxury. You understand me? So I was one of the first people, creating, conscious of Muslim designs with a high aesthetic, and it was fire, because it was some people didn't know what the hell it meant, but the shirt was so dope that they wanted to wear it. And my idea was this: I wanted something that can create a dialogue. That I said that if I can create something to where if I was somewhere I've never been before, and I seen somebody wearing that shirt that say Assalamu alaikum, I know that that's somebody I can tap in with. I don't care if it was a white guy walking down the street with an Assalamu alaikum shirt. That's somebody that I might be able to speak to. Especially if I'm in some hillbilly ass community, it becomes a symbol of dialogue, right? Dialogue builds understanding. You understand me? And understanding builds acceptance. So I wanted to use it in that manner. You understand me? And so that's why I started using clothing. Clothing was just another tool. Clothing, yeah, it was just another tool. And then same thing with technology and social media. Social media was just another tool. Like, because I've already had these. I was already doing this. This was just an extension. I say, what am I? If I'm gonna get on social media, then I'm going to talk about. I will post up a picture. If I'm gonna get on social media, then I'm going to talk about the things that relate my consciousness and have a real meaning. I'm not just going to get on here and do the same thing as everybody else and just bullshit. So that's when I start putting out, the way I think. And I always thought that the conversations that me and my brothers had and the way that we thought growing up was different than the mainstream media that's being projected, and different than the conversations that I ever hear anybody have. So I said that if we share our consciousness within this platform, then it's automatically going to cause a shift. You understand me? It's like if you got things in order, right? And you add something new, it's gonna move things around. So it forced things to move around. It forced things to change. So you a piece of blue God. So it forced things to change. So it's like, people always say when you started or this and that. It's just that all of these tools become an extension. This supplement that I'm working on with my brother Blue Pill, this is an extension of something that I'm already doing. All of these, like everything you do should already be your truth. You understand me? You shouldn't have to make it fit. It should already be you, and you just add as an extension. And so, going back to the beginning of this live and the last live that we just did, um, we were talking about, the future of America and the future of the world, and largely, how that deals with aspirational goals and becoming more and heading off of something, a lot of these things that will happen in AI. And also, if you're looking at the political sphere right now, how does it add, how can the things that will happen regardless of what you do, how can you make yourself more valuable, and how can you prepare yourself for the emerging changes in industry and the economy and politics in the world, period. And so if you didn't watch that live, I suggest you go back and watch that one. And I also suggest you all go check out Andrew Yang and go watch that interview with him and Joe Rogan. That's a very dope interview. I ain't even finishing myself. But if you watch that interview with him and Joe Rogan, I think it give you some insight, not just the Breakfast Club interviews. You got to understand that that's the reason I kind of like Joe Rogan podcast is he'll sit there and talk to a person for as long as necessary in order to get the information out. You sit there 5 hours in order to get a full, dissertation of their thought process. And so the Breakfast Club is, just a quick fire, 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 fire. I also listened to the white lady, I forget her name, that was just on that wants to give black people reparations at about 500 billion. She said it would be like the max cap that she was thinking of over like a 20-year span. For one, 500 billion ain't nowhere near enough. We busting down 1.5 trillion on our own, so that's definitely not enough. I think that's laughable at a goal of anything. Now, some of her ideas about consciousness running the government and diversifying consciousness, I enjoyed that part, but I think her economic plan, I think, was terrible. Just because you won't really see any tangible results from that. You understand me? Now, if they want to bust down $500 billion in 1 year, we might see some stimulus change. I don't know. Or you want to create, like Cory Booker was talking about doing baby bonds. That makes some sense. All of these, if you're looking at these candidates, they're all trying to come with some shiny, tangible that can beat the wall and beat the MAGA hat. You understand me? When it comes to emotional impressioning. But I think that it's interesting that one of the biggest things that all of them are running off of is some economic piece that is something that they got to give us. Like they're trying to bribe us at this point of this is what I'm going to do with the power. Why? Because they seen Donald Trump, just flex, his executive powers. You understand? Like a gangster when he got in office and was just signing stuff. You understand me? Like he ain't tripping. It was nobody's business. So now that he set that tone, they don't have the correctness that Obama did. They can go in there and just start messing shit up. And it was Dick Gregory that said the best thing. He said that when they got Obama, he said the motherfuckers got lucky. He said white people was lucky they got Obama. Because he said if I was president, I would have went in there fucking shit up. You understand me? I would have went in there just changing everything. He said they got Obama, they got the nicest black man that you can possibly give. Well-mannered, articulate, not changing stuff. He said I would have been having barbecues on the line, eating watermelon. He said I would have been kicking it. You understand me? But he said when they got Obama, they got the nicest person. And he said white people just lucky. Because if they would have got a real one in the office that was black, like after all these years, y'all got Obama, the nicest candidate that we could have drummed up. Obama was much more of white people's black president. We haven't had our president. Obama was white people's black president. He was their dream of a black president. You understand me? Like if you want to, if I'm a white person and I think about the type of black president I would want to have, even if I'm a racist, it got to be somebody like Obama. Don't put nobody like Keys in there, or like one of the shifters or something. They coming in there, they kicking down doors, flexing executive power. You understand me? We changing everything. You get $1,000. You get $1,000. You get $1 million. I might just be on. I won't even just be on Twitter. I might just be on Instagram sending people money with executive power. Oh, Blue Pill done posted something good. I like that. Let me send you $1 million, Blue. Don't even trip about it. I got you. What if Pop talking about some community? Oh, yep. Another $1 million goes towards that. Hey, another $1 million goes towards that. Like I would have been doing all kind of stuff. I would have made people hate me. But black people would have loved me so much they would have protected me. They would have protected me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we'd have been good. You understand me? Like if you a black president and they're not trying to kill you, then you're not really doing your job right. Like nobody took a shot. Nobody was taking shots at Obama because he wasn't doing enough. You understand me? They was mad that he was black, but they weren't mad at what he was doing per se. You understand me? But nobody tried to take a shot at that man. So if you go be a black president, you know, you got to be flexing shit so much that these racists want to take a shot at you. You understand me? That's how I look at it. Like, I feel like racist white people, you understand me? They was more mad doing Donald Trump. Afterward, it was like they was out there running people over in their cars and stuff. And Donald Trump comes, these were some really nice people. That's some kind of something I would have said about black people. Y'all would have been out there acting a fool. I'm like, oh, those are some really nice people. I don't think you all understand the types of the ghetto culture. And most of you all are getting it all wrong. No, yeah, those are nice people that shooting in the air on July 4th, kicking and stuff. I should go out there with them. I have nothing but nice stuff to say about black people forever. You understand me? Somebody on YouTube asks, are you pro-Trump? Come on, man. I got to answer dumb stuff like that. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. But yeah, man, every black person that said something, I definitely would have pardoned Larry Hoover. I would have freed all my G's. Everybody we'd have freed so many people. I would have been in the White House with a shirt that say "Free the Homies," and I would have just been going to all the prisons. I would have just been talking to people, and if I believed them, I would have just been pardoning them. Like, I ain't gonna lie, they'd be like, "You done left the prison and you done freed 50 people." I done believed all of them. You understand me? I'd have took a look at that case. Now, we ain't talking about sexual deviance and stuff. I would have had a special team that would have been like, I need y'all to go take a look at all of those cases and let me know who really innocent, who should be free. You understand me? I would have just been pardoning. Everybody would have been free. And all the gangsters that I pardoned, I would have put them in different parts of the hood, you feel me? So they can take back control. And then I would have been good in every hood. Every hood. I'd have been good. So I'm just saying that you know, they don't want to put nobody that's really dangerous because, you know, Obama was the first president to visit a prison. Nobody give a damn about you visiting. You supposed to, I think Obama is he may be doing more pardons than Obama at this point. You know, he doing more pardons than Obama at this point. Yep, I would have freed Max B. You understand me? All of this good stuff. It wouldn't have been no rappers getting harassed. We'd have been flexing all kind of power. We'd have been good. We'd have been good, y'all. We'd have been good. They ain't want to see none of that stuff. I'd have been talking. I wouldn't even been trying to talk, especially after. So maybe the first 4 years, I might have tricked them a little bit. But after I got that next 4 years, oh man, you gotta be shitting me. I would have been shut down prisons. Everybody would be good. You know what I mean? Like reparations, no problem. How much y'all want? You understand? We'd have been taking money out the tech sectors. We'd have been taking money out all of big business, and black people would have been good. Now, I would have made it mandatory that I just don't pass out money. I would have made it mandatory that you at least go through a business management class, right? Or a financial management class. So, and then I would have made you have to write down a goal and how you're going to use the money once you get it and work with somebody so that we could curve. Because if you give a poor man money, you know, he's just going to spend it poorly and put it right back into the hands of, you know, the capitalist structure, and the money's going to flow back down to the top. But financial literacy, as you say, I would have had a program that ran out to where at least for the first half of the year, you would have had to take this reparations financial literacy class. So you take the financial literacy class, right? And then you would have been, then we would have allowed you to be able to get some of the money. Now, we're not going to give it to you all at once. You get it all at once. I don't know what you're going to do. You might owe some people. I don't know what's going on, okay? So we're going to get you to some money over time, right? You understand me? So then, therefore, you would allow time to see what you did with that first money. Did you mess it up or not? So now you got to wait till you get this new money coming in. You understand me? Now for the new money, you got to take another class. You understand me? So here's going to be the thing is you're going to mess it up the first time. I already know you're going to do that. You ain't never had nothing. You understand me? Here, you just get all this money. And then the second time, you take the second class, and then you becoming even more smarter on how to do this thing, right? And so we're going to look at your finances, and then you're going to get a bonus if you kept the money and you did the right thing with it. So we're going to be tracking what you're doing with the money. And so if you're doing the right thing with the money in between, it's going to say that you get more money, right? But if you're doing it poorly, then you're going to get less money and you're going to require more class. You understand me? So it has to be an educational component built into this whole thing. So, you can't just roll out things. You got to be doing. Why everybody talking about what my cash app? Look, I'm going to put it up there. I don't know if my cash app working right now. They've been playing with my cash app, but y'all can always go to the website and just buy something. You can try it, but I don't think cash app working. They've been playing with me lately. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I want to, let me see. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put my mom cash up here one of these days. I gotta make sure I'm putting the right one, but I want to put my mom cash app up here, and then as I'm talking, y'all can just send money to my moms for having me. That's gonna be dope. But you can always go to the site and buy something. Thank you, Marcelina. Appreciate you. So yeah, that would be part of my plan as president. I think people would like that. I think it would be the best because when you're talking about having tangibles for Black people, we're specific people that need specific things and have specific needs. And when you understand the culture and you understand our people, you can create programs like this for us. But a lot of the candidates, they didn't grow up. They don't know what it's like to be Black in America, or they don't understand, our cultural plights and the things that we deal with. So they can't create tangibles that's directly, for us to make sure that we get the best results. Somebody said they trying to see if I ain't gonna send me $1,000. You want to send me $1,000? Go ahead, good brother. What are some things you would tell your 19-year-old self? I tell them don't worry about getting old. You're gonna look the same. I tell them you just go keep getting smarter and keep getting better, brother. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes, but you're gonna keep being great. 10x whatever you're doing. You're on the right path, but you can do more, right? Learn more at a younger age so it'd be easier as you grow. I don't know. My 19-year-old self at that time, I think that's when I was 19 is when I was going through my court case, and that's when I really found the value of knowledge. So I think at 19 years old, I was learning exactly what I needed to learn. And so, I don't think I wouldn't change what I went through and what I learned at that time for nothing. Because we went through that trial, I really learned the value of knowledge, and I've been using that ever since. So I don't even know if I want to mess up that path that I set on during that time. But yeah, 19-year-old me, like, you better heed these lessons you're gonna learn. Now, of course, if I can really go back, I give them some game on a bunch of different things. But yeah, for the most part, it is what it is. Now, but that is an interesting thought experiment to not even going back thinking about what you can say to your younger self, but thinking about what your older self can say to your current self, right? So thinking about the most successful version of yourself in life and what would your future self say, and giving you advice as far as how you got here, and what it took for you to be where you currently are. And I think that's a better mental exercise for individuals to do. All right. Well, we have fun. I gotta go grab me something to eat. You all can go to crowns.com. You're going to see new crowns being added to the site. Well, if you, we also have the paradigm shifter course. So that's a course that me and brother Ben created. It's not just a course that's by myself. So you can take that and many more that will be added. Okay. Look. So
I know where they're much more likely to like implode or like, you know, do something where it's self-destructive than they would be to
don't wish you was black, just help black people.
park it across the highway. But you're
That's
talking
just
about a
some of the new
population. All
crowns I
right,
got.
I guess I had a good run. I'm just going to go home and figure it out. That's not going to be their response. Right. It's going to be much more likely that they say you need to make these robot trucks illegal, or they're just going to park their trucks across the highway, get their guns out, because a lot of these guys are ex-military, and just be like, hey, like I'm not moving my truck until you know, I get my job back, and that there'll be a robot job illegal. Like we should have some laws that keep you from being for the really huge trucking hub. It's vital, so they're not contributing. You know, I think one of the things that people enjoy is earning their own way. Recipe for actual success. And this is where this whole learn to code controversy is coming out online, where people are actually getting banned for writing learn to code. It's really a hot subject on Twitter, and it's very confusing too. But if you're already getting more than $1,000 in stuff, we're not just going to studies. Government-funded retraining programs had a success rate in occupations. Yeah, so that's the recipe that most people are attracted to. So I just want to unpack the numbers a little bit more so people have a sense of it. I was just with a bunch of truck drivers in Iowa last week, and there's a guy, Dennis Bagaski, that gave me a ride from Altoona to Grinnell in Iowa.
Sorry, YouTube can't see this, so they just see me looking at the screen. But I'm showing them something on IG. Sorry, y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, YouTube. Continue to support, subscribe, send it out to other people, and let them know. Thank you for tapping in. Till next time, remember what I said. Think about the future of America and your aspirational goals that you need in order to have more value in this existing paradigm. Tap in.
Exactly is like issue number one. Right. And that these guys didn't love school 30 years ago. It's not like driving a truck has made them really